Chapter 7, page 49. It could be a juror. Cautiously, Marvin crawled over to his preferred spying place behind the desk lamp, watching James the whole time. James was leaning over the drawing, studying it, his face transfixed in a smile. Suddenly he looked up. He peered around the top of the desk. "Hey, little guy," he said softly. Marvin stiffened. He thought he was well hidden behind the lamp's brass base, but James' voice suggested otherwise. Remembering Papa's warning, he flattened himself and slid partway under the lamp. James kept talking, his voice calm. "Little guy, that's what I'll call you, because you are really a little guy." He hesitated. "Unless you're a girl." "What?" Marvin recoiled in alarm, despite his determination to keep still. "Don't be scared. I won't hurt you," James said. He continued to study Marvin. "I don't think you're a girl. I think you're a boy like me." Marvin felt a flicker of relief, but stayed frozen at the edge of the lamp. "You probably can't even understand me, huh? That's okay. My dad is coming in a few minutes. I can't wait to show him your picture. It's the most amazing thing." Marvin watched James lean his elbows on the desk, settling his face in his hands. "But everybody thinks I did it. That's the only problem, and I don't know how to tell them." James's serious gray eyes tracked over to the lamp and stayed there. Marvin cringed. "They'll never believe you did it anyway, so what's the point of telling them?" "No point," Marvin wanted to say. "Don't bother, especially since the drawing won't even be here tomorrow. Best to forget all this." He gazed at the tiny picture mournfully. From the hall they heard a loud thump on the door, and Mrs. Pompaday's muted greeting. A minute later, Carl Tarrick and Mrs. Pompaday appeared in the doorway. "James! James, show your father your drawing. Look at this, Carl. You'll be shocked, I tell you. Look how tiny and elegant it is. Oh, I can't wait to show it to the Mortons and Sandra Ortiz at the gallery." Carl grinned at James and strode over to the desk, wearing a patient expression as if preparing to compliment the picture, no matter what he really thought. But when he saw Marvin's drawing, his eyes widened. He rubbed his beard, staring at it. "May I?" he asked James, reaching for the paper. James blushed. "Sure, Dad." Marvin inched forward to watch Carl's reaction. "James?" his father said slowly. "What did I tell you?" Mrs. Pompadey clapped her hands. "Isn't it wonderful?" Carl walked to the window, lifting the drawing to the light. "How did you do this?" James swallowed. "I just did it. You know, copied what was outside." His father brought the page closer to his face, scrutinizing it, then held it at arm's length. "The lines are so delicate and steady. I wouldn't have thought you could have made a line this thin with the pen I gave you." James didn't say anything. Carl shook his head. Well, it's ridiculous to say, but it could be a juror." Marvin and James both stared at him, not understanding. Carl was still lost in thought, tilting the drawing at different angles. "I mean it. It's that good." Mrs. Pompadey glowed. "Oh, yes, exactly. A juror." "What's that?" James asked. "What's a juror?" "Albrecht Dürer," Carl explained. "The German Renaissance artist, painter, engraver, did lots of pen and ink drawings, even a few miniatures like this a long, long time ago. The detail in this is unbelievable, James. I can't get over it." James smiled joyfully at his parents. Marvin smiled joyfully at James. "How long did it take you?" his father continued. James squinted in the direction of the desk lamp and bit his lip. I don't know. I wasn't paying attention," he said, "but it took a while." "I bet so," his father said, whistling under his breath. He dropped his hand to James' back and rubbed the boy's thin neck, his voice rising in excitement. "You know what we'll do, buddy? We'll go to the Met this afternoon. There was a drawing exhibit that just opened. Works by the old masters. Durer, Bellini, Titan, Michelangelo. You have to see it. Here, we'll take your drawings with us. Marvin almost toppled out into the open. No, he wanted to cry. Stop him, James. But Carl grabbed a math textbook from the desk and carefully slipped the drawing inside the cover. I want you to see firsthand how good this is, he told James. Really? James said. You think it's as good as the pictures by those famous guys? I do. I really do, James. His father ruffled his hair. Mrs. Pompiday didn't look pleased. I don't think you should take that drawing anywhere, she said. What if something happens to it? I haven't even had a chance to show my friends. Carl laughed. Nothing will happen to it, he said. Tucking the math book securely under one arm, I'll guard it with my life. This is really something. Now what? Marvin raced back and forth behind the base of the lamp, not knowing what to do. What if they took the drawing away for good? James and his parents were heading through the door when Marvin saw James hesitate. Oops, my jacket, he said to his father. He came back into the room, grabbing it from the closet, then paused by the desk, crouching near Marvin and shielding him from his parents' view. Come with us, he whispered, to see the drawings. Don't you want to? He rested one big pale finger on the desktop next to Marvin, his eyes urgent. Come on, I'll take care of you. We'll be back soon. Marvin was unable to think of anything but the drawing, which was now gone, out of the room, headed to the Metropolitan Museum of Art. He dithered for one tormented moment, then scrambled on top of James's warm, fleshy fingers. Here, I'll put you someplace safe, James whispered. He gently deposited Marvin in the pocket of his jacket. Frightened but thrilled, Marvin clung to the lip of the nylon fabric, peering out at the swiftly passing world from an unaccustomed height. The end of chapter 7, page 54.